from Chicago is wondering, has anyone on the panel been grossed out by anything on the show? And if so, what was it?
I don't want to blow up, but I think Irony almost puked during the wall scene.
Oh, the blow up.
Really? I would have ripped him so bad.
Yeah, oh, it was so fun. He just like...
Before he had to bash the head of. Yeah. We had the guy in the suit, and then we pulled it out of the well, and then we had a dummy that we squibbed so that we could rip it in half, and we blew up these balloons with all this different liquid in it. And Irony was doing things like...
Yeah, no. Yeah. The best part is if you go back and watch that scene, you watch the close-up that they put on T-Dog of him reacting to the walker, it's the most real reaction that maybe I've ever seen on the show. He just goes like... So subtle and simple, but so completely honest and truthful because he was for real grossed out. I think it was disgusting.
That was the hottest day. That was the hottest day ever. That was the day I almost passed out on set. It was so...
imagine how bad it must have been for Andy, who was actually in the thing.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, of course, the next shot was Irony had to take the crowbar and bash the head in. So after he almost threw up, I went over and handed it to him and I went, dude, just close your eyes if you have to. So some of it, when you watch the take, he's like this. He's not looking at it, because if he looked at it, he would probably vomit it out.
Are you all just kind of hoping for a winter season or a fall season? This season's like, hey, we survived the winter, and you're like, oh, these guys never get a break.
You know, I think that'd be just as bad in its own great way. Yeah, I mean, when it's cold, it's freaking cold.
Outside
in the barn down, it was 12 degrees, and we were so cold that night that we were standing next to the barn, like trying to keep our hands.
And you had just a field full of zombies and like snuggies and shit.
It was like 2 weeks, but in real time it was 7.5 months. So we had one day where it was the day before that we were sweating and we had extra sweat sprayed on when it got cold. So we had cold breath coming out of our mouth and then fake sweat sprayed on and we had to play that we were really hot. It was pretty strange.
It's cool. It's cool. I mean, it all helps.
We had to digitally erase condensation from the walkers' mouths in the season finale of 213 because their bodies aren't supposed to be warm, so you shouldn't see their breath. So there were shots where we had to go in digitally and erase the moisture coming out of their mouths and the bodies of their mouths. Can you use this? It's a tip. It's a real nice tip.
Let's do a couple more before we wrap things up here. John from Milwaukee, John O'Mahony, was wondering if you had a chance to write or direct the next season without following any of the comic books or storyline, what would your season include? Who would you have killed?
So good, you know, she's good at everything.
You guys are mean. I'll tell you what, you guys can call the actors when we make that call because that is not a fun phone call. I like being in the city. Like when we did season 1, the stuff with the tank and that stuff. To me, it feels. I like the urban environment because. It feels a little more like stuff can just come at you from anywhere because there's buildings and I kind of like that and I do, even though I think season 2, even though some people, nobody better applaud, some people feel that season 2 got a little slow, which I disagree with because I felt that it was fantastic character development, character build that led us to the end of that season. But I did miss being in the city. I think the city just has a lot more opportunity for weird shit to happen.
The city looks cool empty. You know?
Imagine if our show was in New York. Like, that'd be cool. Or
Milwaukee. I think we just hired 2,800 walkers.
Before we forget, wait, I have to say one thing. Is Blair in this audience today? Happy birthday.
happy birthday, dude.
Happy birthday. Today.
Everybody say happy birthday to Blair. It's 13.
Happy birthday, Blair.
Whose birthday is tomorrow?
All right, last question here. We from Waukesha. Sorry, guys, I'm a big fan. In a real life zombie apocalypse, which character do you think you would most identify with or act like? In a real life zombie apocalypse, which Walking Dead character would you think you'd identify with the most or act like? It's a shame.
Actually, like to play Shane. Shane would be one of the most fun people to play. You just act like a pitbull. So, yeah.
So you really kind of deep in thought about this question.
I don't know. I think I just maybe like where Rick was at like season 2-ish.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Just like kind of floating in the middle of like questioning what's right and what's wrong. Yeah, Rick.
So much like Daryl, I'd have to say Daryl. You know, I'd be like loner, trying to, you know, I don't think I'd trust people to jump. Oh, thanks. Probably Daryl.
Greg, what about you?
I would go with Rick as well, because what's great about him is he's a flawed character. All the characters in the show are flawed in some capacity, and even Shane in season 2, where Laurie kept sort of pulling him back in, and he really was doing the right thing. He kills Otis. He really just genuinely believes that Rick doesn't have it in him to protect the group. He wasn't a bad dude. He just went about it all wrong. So the truth of the matter was, he loved her and he loved Carl so much that he just wanted to protect them and was willing to do anything to do it. So I love that about Shane and about his character, and the fact that Rick, the kind of the storytelling we do with his character, especially in season 2, was anytime something heavy came up, he would leave. Like he would just go, okay, you guys will be fine, I'm gonna go do something else. And he kept leaving them. And it was interesting because you get to the point where you realize that Rick didn't know what to do with them. So he would be like, oh, I'm gonna go get Herschel, or I'll go take care of it. It's like, wait a minute, Carl just watched Sophia killed and you're gonna leave us now? And he's like, no, you'll be fine, I'll be back. And he kept leaving, so he definitely was a flawed character, but did some great stuff.
All right, well, I think that'll do it, you guys. That's a good night to you. Anything else you'd like to say before we...
Thank you for coming, guys.